connected world that we are living in, data is all around us. In fact, more data is being generated while you and I are listening to this podcast. This data is a valuable asset to businesses and organizations that want to scale up, be it for a competitive edge, to expand their business line, to make better business decisions, or to understand their audience market. Businesses extract insights out of this data and put it to better use. With the belief that data has the power to transform a business and improve society, Qlik is a globally renowned company that helps organizations with end to end solutions to make the most out of the data. Hello, listeners. I'm Apoorva from Analytics Insight, and today I'm in conversation with Mr. Varun Babbar, Managing Director of Qlik India. Hi, Varun. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Purva. Thanks for having me here.
So, let's start the podcast with a more in depth understanding about the company Qlik and its specialization.
So, Apoorva, Qlik was founded in Lund, Sweden in 1993. Qlik is a leading organization in data integration and analytics space. We work with over 50,000 customers across industries and have presence in almost 100 plus countries. This year, we are nominated as the leader in Gartner Magic Quadrant for 11th year in a row. For any data and analytics journey, it's very important for an organization to first know what data you have and then understand that, okay, what it means. And once you know that, you also need to trust that data and also know that, okay, what you want to do next with that data. And that's what Qlik does. Qlik enables all these four factors for an organization by allowing people in the organization to access the raw data, find that data from the various source system, understand that data, and build trust with that data by governing it, and then action that data for business decisions.
So, with the mission to enable companies to use data in a better way, how has the journey been since the company's inception to now?
So let me talk about our India journey, Apurva. So Qlik started its operations
Right.
in 2010, and
Okay.
I was lucky to join the organization around the same time. A decade back, I joined Qlik as a pre-sales consultant, and over last 10 years, I have managed and led different functions like pre-sales consulting and channel sales, thereby working with different customers and partners in this journey. So in India, we have offices in four places: Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, and Baroda, with
Right.
almost 200 plus employees locally. We work with over
Right.
800 plus active customers like Indian Oil, HDFC Life, Maruti, Book My Show, etc., and have around 40 plus partners in different categories. Partners who resell our software, consulting partners, and system integrator partners, and OEM and ISV partners. So, as country manager, I am responsible for operations and growth of India subcontinent business. We have seen very good growth over the last 10 years of India as a country adopting to analytics and leveraging it for within their organizations to take better decisions every passing day.
Right. So, from the last 10 years, Qlik has seen how India has embraced the new technology of analytics. And since then, how was your role in the company and how did it affect and what were your contributions to the company and the industry on the whole?
So as I said, I was lucky to join around 10 years back. Before that, also, I was in data and analytics space. I've worked in different organizations like IBM and Infosys in the same space across the globe. I've spent some time in Switzerland, US, and India. But particularly in
Mhm.
Qlik, when I joined as a pre-sales consultant, primarily responsible for working with our customers to understand, discover the challenges that they're facing, understand how business intelligence and analytics can add value into their ecosystem and define their solution
Mhm.
roadmaps. And then I moved into different consulting and channel sales roles where I worked with the partners to grow the partner ecosystem. When I joined, we were like 2, 3 people in Qlik with almost only 1, 2 partners. Now we're talking about 40 plus partners in different categories. So working with these partners, creating an ecosystem which can help develop the whole analytics ecosystem for the country. Parallelly, we also work with academic institutions. At this point of time, we work with almost 400 plus academic institutions in India, where they are part of our Qlik academic program, where we allow students as well as professors to leverage our softwares without any cost in their projects, as well as while learning different subjects, etc. So building this whole ecosystem over the last 10 years have been a great journey for me. And in my current role, as I said, primary responsibility is to manage this whole ecosystem as well as manage the growth for the India subcontinent business.
It sounds like a great initiative that Qlik has partnered with, education institutions so that they can use the software free of cost. And one of the solutions that Qlik offers, I believe, is a data integration plan. Can you tell us something more about the plan?
So, as I said, the critical aspect of any data analytics journey is to understand their data, find that data, and take that data to a level so that we can make decisions out of it. And that makes integration of data from various systems to uh, as a very important aspect. But traditionally, data integration projects have been perceived as very huge projects which takes at least 2 to 3 years from inception to really give value to the organizations. And many people still believe that data integration is a huge project that takes years before it starts to show results. But things have changed now, and Qlik has made that change. Qlik has made data integration faster and simpler, and that's what we call our data integration plan. We have kind of built our data integration plan very similar to our full body workout that we do. We call it our fitness plan. It is very similar
Oh,
to our body workout, right? Like we have separate days for legs, arms, and cardio. In the same
yes,
way, what
yes.
we're saying is that can you kind of uh, break down this bigger data integration project into smaller development cycle. So we've kind of interviewed almost a lot of chief data officers across the globe, and we compiled the findings out of those interviews into a 30, 60, 90-day data fitness plan. And we
Okay.
prescribe that how organization now go into this journey, which makes it faster, customized to their own need rather than having a 4 year journey and then seeing the results out of it.
I think that's a great strategy, breaking down the entire program, so that it's really comprehensible to everybody, and then, tailor making it, the entire program according to a company's specifications. I think that is what make Qlik one of the best. That is what make Qlik's offerings one of the best. And so something else also, as you lead quick as you lead Qlik in the Indian subcontinent, can you elaborate on data analytics and business intelligence industry in India, and how you think it's booming and what its future is?
Yeah. So if we talk about the analytics industry, I think we are seeing a very big shift. And I can even say that we are entering the third generation of business intelligence. So
Right.
when I talked about the first generation of business intelligence, it was very much around people wanting to get reports and really want to get that report and get the KPI that, okay, find out how I am doing. Then even the software organizations change as well as the organizations had different needs, and we moved towards second generation where there was a bigger focus towards analytics, and people wanted to get more out of the data, not only knowing that, okay, what how I am doing, but also understanding why I am doing so. But I think with this third generation, what is happening is that keeping both report centric and the analysis part still integrated, but we are moving towards the people centric aspect of it, that how people are going to leverage it, whether people are going to whether people really need to go to the dashboards to do a postmortem, or can we do a more real time analytics where they get a alert as soon as some exception happens, so they really don't need to go into any report or a dashboard to do their analysis. So this huge shift is happening in this space, and I usually call it that there are four things which are very important and which are changing almost every day. One is active
Hmm.
intelligence. As I said, that there is uh, a huge shift from reactive intelligence to active way of doing the business. It is like people not going to the dashboard, rather the real time data pipeline from the raw data sources coming to you, triggering insights and alerts, and you taking decisions based on that. That's one. Second is augmented intelligence. So we hear a lot about machine learning technologies and how artificial intelligence is changing and how a lot of data is getting generated, and it is humanly impossible for anyone to actually make anything out of this large amount of data that these machines are generating. So
Yes.
these algorithms are really helpful in those scenarios, right? And but but when I say augmented intelligence, it is very important for a marriage between this machine as well as the human being, because we understand the environment, and if we can leverage the artificial intelligence algorithms and integrate that with our knowledge of the ecosystem, we can always take better decisions. So that's another thing where a lot of things are happening. Third is, I would say, active way of collaborating. And what better way to talk about it, Apurva? In a normal scenario, probably we would have recorded this sitting together. But given the pandemic, we have
Yes.
all moved towards these collaboration technologies, right? In
Yes.
analytics, also, it has a huge role to play. People collaborating together, people analyzing the data together, sharing their notes in an analysis system. So all these things are kind of changing. And as Qlik, we are doing a lot of things around all these three areas, right? Active intelligence, we made acquisitions around Qlik data integration softwares, Qlik replicate, which can real time replicate data from any system to your analytics system. We have something called an Insight Advisor, which is like a AI assistant for an analytics user, which advises users that, okay, what more you can see out of the data. It uses AI algorithms to get more out of the data while the user is analyzing the data there. We've acquired software called NAR Analytics to increase collaboration within our ClickSense platform. And finally, but not the last, I would say automation. Automation is key to it. There are many operational decisions where we really don't need any human intervention. So a trigger happens and automatically alert goes to the system, and you should be able to automate the decision making process there. So as Qlik, we have done investments with, there's a soft company called Blender, where we are working
Mm-hmm.
towards automating that pipeline of decision making also. So it is not only about informing the user with respect to what is happening with the data, but allowing the user to take the decision and automating that decision also. So I would say these are some of the future trends which I see, uh, which are very much prominent in the way people in India are using analytics and business intelligence.
I absolutely agree with you when you said that, this pandemic has shown the true potential of these disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence. And again, just like you said, if not for the pandemic, you and I would be having this podcast face to face. But this is a way that companies are embracing this technology and finally understanding what all it can do for businesses. And as you mentioned, this is the first generation of the analytics thing in India, and you've been with Qlik since the inception of it, so you've been seeing it up close and have a deeper understanding of what's happening. And in that sense, how do you think the role of a leader has changed over the years with and with the adoption of all these technologies and new implementations and advancements happening constantly? Do you think the role of a leader, do you think your role in the company has changed over the years?
It has, in fact, it has. And let me quote a survey that we did with Accenture. This was a data literacy survey that we did. And as part of that survey, one of the findings was uh, that 4 out of 5 people, despite having
Mm-hmm.
all the access to the data, are still taking decisions based on their gut feel. So despite having all the access to the data, still people are probably going with their knowledge of the ecosystem more than the data. But that's changed
Right, right.
drastically with pandemic. In pandemic, we saw our customers asking for more and more data, because probably there was no other way to go to find more things about what is happening in the ecosystem, right? So for example, I'll give you an example of one of our customers, L&T Technology Services. So they are a system integrator, and as soon as the pandemic hit, uh, their whole workforce had to work out of homes, and immediately
Mm-hmm.
they had to procure thousands of laptops. and then ship those laptops to different locations. So they actually created a real-time application around ClickSense where they could actually manage this whole supply chain and enable through analytics that okay, right people are getting the right access to all the devices that they need. So that's just one example, but in different way people have used um, uh, data to take more and more decisions. And I see leaders uh, getting embracing the data more during this time. So that's one big change that has definitely happened during this phase.
Now, that's an innovative solution to solve the problem. And as you rightly said, the pandemic has made more people adopt this technology because, well, there was no other way to understand what's happening and to, find calm in this chaos. And in that sense, what do you think is the future of, of this technology? Where is India heading in terms of the technology, and where do you see the future being, say, like after 10 more years?
As I said, we talked about artificial intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence,
Right.
natural language processing, all these technologies, if you go 3 4 years back, these were like more of buzzwords. People wanted to do a lot of things, but they were not very clear on what exactly needs to be done. But that's not the case now. These technologies are very much part of everything that we do. Everything. I was actually going through an article that you have written around data scientists and how probably that's not the most exciting role, just because that okay, different expectations from different people when you perceive as a data scientist, right? So but the things are changing very fast. People are understanding that it is not about having being a jack of all trades, but you really need to be expert on a particular thing and then get maximum
Yes,
out of
yes,
it. So I
absolutely.
think that move is definitely going to happen. That people are going to move towards more specific skill sets. I see a big change with respect to data literacy. When we talk about all these technology projects, I think we end up talking about the technology side of the things, but the real value comes from all these projects when you actually enable the organization, people in the organization to get maximum out of it, right? Making a more data literate
Right.
organization. So I always see it as a every data analytics projects as a tripod. That one layer is data integration, one layer is data analytics, and third layer is data literacy. You can create a fantastic application, but if your people cannot read, write, and converse with the data, then you will not get anything out of it. Uh, so I have seen a lot of organization investing in the journey of data literacy, making their people more literate so that they can get more out of the data. Just to give you an example, there, our customer SDFC Life, they've created a
Mm-hmm.
framework called Care Framework. They call it Communicate, C for Communicate, A for Access, R for Record Keeping, and E for Enable. So every analytics application that they want to go ahead with, they follow this four prong process. They first communicate to everyone that okay, yes, this is what is coming. Ensure that the right access is set, ensure that the right records, that is the data, is present for all
Mm-hmm.
the value they want to get out of this application, and then finally enable the users to get maximum out of it. So that's how they are creating their own way of creating a data literate organization so that people are getting more out of the data sets. So embracing artificial intelligence in all the regular jobs that you do, plus upskilling yourself almost every day. I would even go ahead and suggest that in today's world, if you are in data space, please spare at least 20 to 25% of your time to upskill yourself, because this space is changing every day, and the more you learn, the better you get at it, and more competitive you are in the whole space. And so these are two key areas where I think India will invest more and more over the next 5 to 10 years.
Absolutely. Data analytics, artificial intelligence, all these disruptive technologies require constant learning and unlearning, which I think people who are entering this field or already in this field should realize. And that is how, data literacy can come, and more, if more people get to know about these technologies, that is when more people will be ready to adopt it, more people will be ready to understand it, and work towards improving it and developing it. And as you said earlier, that Click services allows the users to tailor make and customize programs according to their companies. So in that sense, what challenges did Click as a company face in order to get the companies the right kind of analytics product that they need?
So challenges are multi-pronged, right? So I think the
Right.
biggest challenge is whenever you get into a data analytics projects and treat it only as a technology project. So if you really want to get value out of any data analytics projects, I think the first step just should not start with the technology, and that's the mistake I have seen some of the organizations making. That based on what is their technology roadmap, they decide their analytics strategy. I think the analytics strategy should be defined by what is their what's the value they want to get out of it. What are the business challenges that they are facing currently? Business challenges can be that okay, they need real time data, they have IoT based sensors, and they want to understand that okay, how their machines are working on a more real time basis, because every day that of a plant shutdown that they can save is lots of money saved for them, right? So but then you cannot define these solutions based on the technology landscape you have. The technology landscape is evolve, as you said, it is evolving every day, and hence
Yes.
treating it only as a technology project is one mistake that people do, and that's why we launched this data literacy offering also, where we treat these projects as a project where we'll upskill the literate level of the organization so that people can get more out of the data sets overall. So that's one challenge that we have seen regularly. The second challenge that I would say that people have seen is the question between should I go small or should I go big? And there is no
Yes.
clear answer to it. There is no clear answer to it. Sometimes I've seen people going on to a journey of an analytics project, which includes creating a data warehouse and then moving it into a business intelligence solutions, and then doing machine learning on top of it. And by the time the users get the real output out of it, 2 to 3 years have passed. So and the business dynamics have also changed, right? There is really a need to mix and match short term versus the long term approach that you are taking. So it is so that's another challenge which organizations struggle with a lot. And my prescription to it is always go with respect to the business problems that you have. If you have a business problem which you feel can be solved by getting a smaller data set and solving it quickly, solve that problem, and then integrate with your bigger long-term plans which are there. So every organizations will have a different architecture and a different strategy. But these two aspects, I think, have been very prominent in some of the analytics journeys that I have worked with customers.
You rightly pointed out a very important point that actually people don't really talk about, is that because this technology is so new, companies who want to adopt it are always confused what's the first step. They always think, as you said, in like two ways, if they have to go small or they have to go all in and go big. And that is, I think, according to what you said, is like the foundation of what how your strategy should be. And I think if a company gets that right, afterwards it's just a smooth sailing process for them to adopt the technology in many other ways. And I also feel that if companies take a lot of time in deciding if they want to go small or go big or have a mix of both, that also puts them in a disadvantage, that they're wasting a lot of time, and in that time the technology is already developing and advancing in so many more levels.
Exactly. Yes. And I think that's why it is very important to think about the users and what the users want, because
Yes.
see, finally, it is the business user who's going to use this. It is not going to be a technology
Correct.
user, and its main role is not learning a technology. So you really need to build something where he doesn't need to learn something to get used to it, right? I always give this example: if you give a iPhone to an Android user, he will still struggle. because he's not
Yes.
used to it, right? Even though we say that the UI of iPhone is best, uh, uh, people may debate on that though. But in the same way, you should not be building so complex applications so that business users doesn't even use it. So he should just feel at
Right.
home while using these solutions.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The end person who's using it is the user, and if the entire program is complicated to the user, then there's actually no point of going through all that process in the first place. So thank you so much, Varun. This was a really insightful podcast, and we got to learn some really new concepts about what the company is doing. And I'm sure all our listeners are also excited to see where Qlik is headed in India and what new solutions and innovative products they have to launch in the future.
Thank you, Apoorva. Thank you. It was very good talking to you, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much.